I'm Katie.
Hi, I'm Camilla.
And welcome to You're Gonna Be Fine, the self-development podcast with a chatty twist.
Please know that we are not professionals, just regular girls sharing from our own journeys to hopefully educate, motivate and inspire you on yours.
So if you're dealing with something serious, please speak to a professional because at the end of the day, they are the experts, not us.
If you are enjoying the podcast, please rate, review, subscribe and share with someone who you think would enjoy it.
It helps us more than you know to reach more gorgeous people just like you.
With that being said, enjoy the episode and remember, whatever it is,
you're going to be fine. Hi everyone and welcome back to You're Gonna Be Fine. Today's episode is called How to Read Your Partner's Mind, which I think is something that we all could use from time to time. But before we get into the depths of this very useful episode, let's do our fuck of the week.
Great,
what's yours, love?
Yes, we have forgotten those in previous eps, but we're back on it. So my oh fuck of the week probably explains why maybe I'm not super on it this episode, because allow me to set the scene. And it's
love it.
Yeah, you do love it when I say
when
that.
She says that.
So I had some friends over for the weekend and I was in my hosting era,
wow,
which is a first.
Yeah, nice.
Now, I've been like nervous for hosting because I've not done it before. And because you know I'm a shit multitasker. Like I cannot multitask. And I am a self-confessed, would rather be hosted than host, which is basically context. I'm a lazy cow and basically make my food and clear my plates. No, I'm joking, but also not. So yeah, I've been really excited to host. It's one of my friends who was on The Apprentice with me.
Nice.
And she's one of those friends that I don't see her all the time, but when I see her, it's just like no time has passed. And she actually brought her husband up. So they'd made the journey. It was like a 3-hour journey from Milton Keynes. And we were doing like a double date in our home. Anyway, I've done this full itinerary. You saw it before.
Yeah, stunning.
Done a full like invitation, like super overboard. Anyway, like, and the couple that came up, they are the most intelligent, the most amazing people, like sensible vibes, you know? So I was thinking, you know, wholesome weekend.
Early
like,
night, early rise. Yeah.
And I'd literally sent her a voice note and I said, because she said, oh, what's the vibe? And I was like, well, you know, I'm happy to have a few drinks because I'm not a massive drinker. But I said, just so you know, like we do go to bed like latest 10 p.m. So
Lights out, 10 p.m.
I was like setting expectations.
Yeah.
I was communicating, which is key. Anyway, plot fucking twist. Went to sleep literally at 3:30. Like they wanted to stay up a.m. I have not been up till 3:30 a.m. since I would say a decade.
Yes.
Seriously. So it was a massive plot twist, not what I was expecting. Like it just ended up, so I booked this lovely restaurant, we didn't go.
What?
Like basically what happened, yeah, not like me at all.
The queen of itinerary as well, you are.
Seriously.
So were you stressed about that or did you just roll with it?
No, I was just going with the flow,
that's good.
which is
That's
not like me
nice.
at all.
Yeah.
But the oh fuck was just like, I was really like just expecting a very wholesome weekend and holy fuck, it was the other way. It was wild. They are wild. Like seriously.
Are they wild or are they just wild compared to you?
Yeah, no, exactly.
They're really neutral, actually.
Yeah,
but
they're probably just,
wild.
and I was like, oh my God, but I just can't do it anymore.
No, I can't.
Realised,
No.
like, and Sam was the same, to be fair. And like, kudos to them. Like, you know, they were going to Manchester the day after. But I had no personality on Sunday morning. So this happened on Saturday. And seriously, on Sunday, I was like monosyllabic. I was like, oh my God, like this is just, they're having the worst experience of me right now. Because I don't drink
You
really.
don't hide it well either.
I don't drink and I don't
If
hide it.
there's
I'm just
nothing
like,
left, there's nothing left.
I've got
I'm like
nothing
that.
left.
I've got
Yeah,
nothing
seriously. And I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Number one, I felt old and I felt really fucking boring on Sunday because I was like, I have nothing to say. Like, cause I'm so tired and I'm so hungover.
What do we say? Live, laugh, leave by 9 p.m.
Yeah, and
bye-bye.
I know.
Off you go.
But like, oh yeah. So we had you know what I'm taking from it, because I do feel like, you know, it's Monday now and you know, it was Saturday, so I can't help but like beat myself up a bit because it's like, oh fuck, like I kind of, but it's because it's such a rare occurrence, and I had such a good time on the night, and you know, we were just having really deep, intellectual conversations, which I'm so grateful for. Like it was really like they are special people, so I kind of have to just remember that. But it was a bit of an oh fuck, like I need to really just like gather myself for this episode.
Really dig deep.
Yeah, I've had
really
to.
dig deep into that personality to try and bring it out. Yes, yes.
If I'm a little bit
lackluster.
That's the word.
Yes.
Then that is why.
Yes.
So there's my O fuck.
Well, you've not come across that way so far today, so
thank you.
don't worry.
I felt like maybe I was going to be, like one of those nodding Churchill dogs people have in their cars where they're just like, yeah, whatever you say. World's shortest podcast episode because I'm just like, what she said. But yeah, hopefully I can muster the personality for this. What was yours?
Good. Just actually, my fuck of the week is quite similar to what you were saying in that it's like a sign of getting old. So, old. I'm 30 in this month. So this is my birthday month now. Yay. Gonna milk it to death.
Yeah.
And so my mum said to me, what do you want for your birthday? And I was just thinking, she was like sending me pictures of like handbags and like, things that you would probably typically think that I would want for my 30th. And I said, no, I'm actually really would like a sideboard.
A sideboard?
I'm on like an interior mission with the house at the moment.
Yeah.
Like we've lived there since October and some rooms are done, some rooms still really do need work. And I just thought, no, I really want to start collecting like really good quality furniture that will last, and just build a home. Like that's just what I really want to do. So I asked for a sideboard for my 30th.
Oh my God.
And then the stars aligned because there's this furniture shop called Ochre, which is like really gorgeous stuff. But my God, you need to get like a loan to buy anything. It's so expensive. And so it was very timely because my mum had already said I want a sideboard. And then she texted me and was like, oh my God, Ochre have a 50% sale off on. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, run, don't walk. Yeah. So I literally got in the car and met her there. And we were going around and then I found this sideboard. It was reduced. Bear in mind, it's had a 50% sale. And my maths is not the best, but I know this is a good deal.
Yeah.
£1,600 sideboard, reduced to £360.
Wow.
Isn't that mental? Because it was X display. So it had like a few little scratches, but I'm not bothered. For that saving, I will take it. Yeah. So took it, got it for my birthday as a gift. And now it's in the house and it's gorgeous, but that's not the fuck. Got the sideboard, got 2 lamps to go, because obviously I got the sideboard. Then I was like, and I'll get 2 lamps and I'll get this and I'll get that. So I'm really building this thing in the kitchen. And then there was 1 lampshade left. So in my optimism, I was like, I'll just take that one and then I will go online and order the next one.
Great.
The matching one. Out of stock. So now this beautiful sideboard in our kitchen is like lopsided because one lamp has a shade and the other doesn't. So I was like, fuck's sake. Just when I thought it was going to be very like interior designy of me.
Yeah, put together.
Which is a new era for me, I have to say. So I am kind of like learning as I go. But I certainly do know that it does need another shade. So that was really annoying. So I don't actually know what to do now. I'll insert a picture if you're interested, just so I can show off my sideboard because it is so gorgeous.
I remember actually, and I thought this, for my 27th birthday, I got a trampoline, which I thought was...
Wait, what? That's like a regression. That's what you get when you're 7.
I know. But it was hilarious because when I used to live in Manchester, in my first apartment
you
block,
had it there?
I had it there.
You jumped.
And I was literally, and I had like this terrace, and it was right when you came into Manchester, and I used to trampoline on the terrace, and people, my friends would say they would come into Manchester because it was on the main road, and they'd just see my head bobbing above the terrace wall, like Camilla's trampolining again, which was just so funny.
So
but yeah,
funny.
that just made me laugh because memorable presents. Literally, I've been bought some amazing presents, and the only one I can remember is the trampoline. God, wow. But yeah, I love that. So it's just symbolising the growth, I think. So,
definitely.
And yeah, for me, like obviously, like I'm beating myself up because I've got a hangover, but it's like it will be my first hangover in probably like 18 months.
This is absolutely hilarious that you're even calling this a hangover because my hangovers when I was drinking, holy shit. I was in A&E on day 2. I was not at work on day 2. I was like, oh my God.
Okay,
so
that
anyway,
makes you feel better.
Trust me.
Yeah,
you look great. I literally look like a corpse when I was hungover and you look glowing.
Thanks, honey.
So back to it. So obviously, as I've said, the episode today is on how to get your partner to read your mind. Yeah. So you can kick it off. Yeah. What's your number 1 tip for this?
So for me, I'm really big on, like, we know how we speak about communication all the time. Yeah. So communicating exactly what you want, because you can't be mad for not getting what you want if you haven't asked for it. Mm-hmm. And I think just saying from the beginning, setting your stall out, like, these are my expectations, these are my boundaries. And talking about, very buzzword at the moment, really, but love languages. I'm so passionate about love languages, aren't I?
Yeah.
And I think this really helps to understand your partner and to get them to understand you, and therefore, to an extent, read your mind.
Yeah.
So I had this conversation very early on with my partner. And so the 5 love languages are acts of service. What's the other one? The hangover.
Gifts.
The hangover. Physical touch, quality time, and
Acts of service.
Words of affirmation, yeah.
And that's your one.
That is my one to a T. And there's 2 parts to this. So it's what you like to receive and what you give out. So how you show love. So for me, I'm massive on words of affirmation. I love to give them out. I love to receive them. I mean, everyone in an ideal world, you want them all. Of course you do. Like my love language is all of them.
Yes.
I actually do want to do a little petition, though, for a 6th love language.
Oh, is it pranks?
No, but it should be, because I am the prank master. Yeah, and I think that's an act of service. It's me doing something for him that's gonna
that makes you laugh.
That makes me laugh. Yeah, true.
It's an act of service to myself.
Yeah, but my 6th love language that I'd love a petition for is not having to ask. I think that is such a good love language. Not having to ask for, when people just do
anything.
Things,
just do it.
Just do it, without me asking. And I think that's a big one. But when you do communicate, for example, so I said to my partner at the start, right, I am huge on words of affirmation, and that is something that makes me feel loved. I'm also in relationships, very physical touch, but I'm not really like that with friendships, which is interesting. Acts of service, I would say that's a really, really popular one. Just filling your car up or doing something that makes your life easier, and I like that. I think in relationships, we are in relationships with people that to an extent should make our lives easier and contribute to our peace. And, so I think knowing what your partner's love language is will help you be able to read their mind, and them knowing what you like and what your love languages are will help them to read your mind. And I just think it's such a, it's almost a no-brainer. You wouldn't get a car, or you wouldn't get a new piece of tech without reading the instruction manual. So why would you go into a relationship without the instructions? Always. Yeah. So I think that's so key. Did you and James discuss love languages from the outset?
Not from the outset. We have touched on it, but it's just funny because I want them all.
Yeah.
So
don't we all though? But if you have to,
if
to prioritize.
I had to pick, it'd be words of affirmation. And acts of service. Yeah. If I had to pick.
Gun to your head. Choose one.
Yeah. But then touch, I also think is really important. Gifts, not so much. Sometimes if he'll fill up the car or whatever.
That's an act of service.
But that's an act of service, isn't it? 100%. But I wouldn't be buy me a handbag or I don't feel loved. Yeah. It's just not really birthdays and stuff and Christmas, whatever. But I do think words of affirmation and acts of service, they're definitely my biggest.
Yeah, but
biggest
I love quality time as well.
Oh my God, what am I on
quality
about?
Time,
Quality time. No, that's mine. Yeah. Quality time, words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Quality time, words of affirmation. And that's interesting because when I first met James, actually, the quality time thing, I don't think that was his, in that I think he thought we were having quality time, but in my opinion, we weren't. So that's an interesting thing about love languages is that, yes, have the chat about which ones you've got, but then they can mean different things to different people. So, and I know you had that conversation, didn't you, with Lauren?
Yeah, because I was like, right, okay, let's FaceTime. That's quality time. And she was like, no, it's in
not
person.
Quality time. Yeah.
And also, I think quality time for me is when neither of you is on your phone.
Yeah.
Which probably is you and James. If you were with him, but he's working, that's not quality time to you, but it could be to him. Yeah. And that's, again, the only way he can read your mind going forward is if you say, James, I don't think this is quality time. I know you're in each other's company, but you don't feel present, Yeah.
And that's definitely, we've had that conversation, and and it's just that one conversation, isn't it? It's squash now. And now we have loads of quality time, and we just went on holiday, and it was just amazing because we'd had that conversation months prior, but it's just planting that seed and then working at it and reminding it. And then we had an amazing time because he was so present. We had loads of quality time, and you kind of fill up that quality time cup.
Yeah,
which
I
is
love
really
that.
nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
So I think because obviously love languages, we've touched on that. So what's your next point for how people, well, specifically how your partner can read your mind?
You kind of touched on it actually, but asking for what you want.
Yes.
I think, like you said, people can't be mad about not getting what they want if they haven't asked for it. But what I kind of wanted to share is how to ask for what you want, but in a productive and healthy way. Because I think sometimes a lot of people might say, be frustrated by not getting what they want or hurt by not getting what they want, and then enter the conversation almost quite aggressively of you're not giving me what I want. That is not a productive way to go about it. You need to be going into the conversation, and even this might feel uncomfortable at first, but it is a really useful way to not get the other person riled up. Is to say, I feel like da da da. Not you are not doing da da da.
Yeah.
Because it feels instantly like you're attacking them. And I'm sure we've all been there, like feeling like somebody's attacking us. You instantly go on the defense. It's just human nature.
You did this.
And instantly you go, well, you did this. And it's just not a productive way to have that conversation. So to explain to somebody, I feel this way because of this, and I would like to feel this way, and I would feel this way if we worked on this together. You know, so switching up that I and you, and also choosing the right time and place to have conversations. Because again, sometimes if you're like triggered or really wound up by something in the moment, you might just fly off the handle and be like rah, 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 rah. And then it can sometimes be blown out of proportion, and things can be really exacerbated when it didn't need to be quite as big of a deal as maybe it was turned out to be. So choosing the right time and setting, this might again sound a bit like what, but try, if you need to bring something up with your partner, try to choose a time when you're actually in a really good place, like a really good mood, like having a good time together, like, oh, by the way, I just kind of wanted to bring this up because
yeah, actually that's a good point,
because actually everybody's mood is lighter and happier, and you're in a good positive rose tinted glasses time, rather than when you're in the trenches, like bringing up another thing or having another row. Sometimes it can be a bit, but I get that sometimes people might think, oh no, but I don't want to ruin a good day, you know, but actually it can be a really good tip that for helping you have productive conversations.
I think environment is a huge thing. And this is something that I've learned, and a tip that I've picked up recently from Tony, funnily enough.
Oh yeah, love
best
Tony.
Therapist ever. He basically said, when having, not really arguments, but creative discussions, let's say, like even if it was like a friendship one or, in a relationship sense, to do walk and talks, because basically in a relationship, you often have like these negative conversations in a specific room, like the sofa. You might be sat on the sofa, or you might be in the bedroom, like having these discussions. And he was basically saying you need to like switch up your environment when it comes to having like a neutral space, so that the house feels like, a positive environment, and it's not somewhere where you associate with like arguing or discussions or whatever. So when you're next like having a bit of a altercation with your partner, to get outside, walk and like discuss it, because then you can communicate better, and then as a result down the line they're going to be able to read your mind more, because they've kind of they've associated the environment with being a different,
also
a more
there is
positive.
just something about not having direct eye contact that makes it easier to say how you truly feel. It's just easier as you're
so true.
Looking away, or if you're in the car driving, like it is easier, I think, to if it's a very difficult thing that you need to talk about. So I love that walk and talk.
It's good, isn't it? I like think that. I'm yet to actually implement it, because there's been no need for a creative discussion.
Imagine you do that every time, then it's like, just want to go for a stroll. Oh God, what now? It's like, no, genuinely just a walk. No talk.
No, seriously.
Just a nice walk this week. I'm not going to have a go at you this week. That's so funny.
Sam hates walking though. He hates, whenever we go on walks, like, Old Man of Coniston, we both...
I've not done that one yet, actually.
You need to, it's so good. But we did it, and it was like an hour or an hour and a half maybe. And it was so funny because we looked at each other and we were like, that was perfect, wasn't it? Not too long. And bear in mind, in a month's time, I was going and doing Kilimanjaro. And I was like, I've actually had the realisation that I don't like walking either. And I was like, which is a bit of a problem because I'm going to be walking for 8 days. So I was like, shit. Yeah, I know.
That's
We
so
both realised at the same time, like, we're very much a 1 hour door-to-door, like, walk fans. So that's quite
short
funny.
And sweet.
Yeah, short
Sorry,
and
I'm
sweet.
just moving Norris's bum.
No problem.
So go on. What was your next one?
So next one, again, it kind of ties into love languages, but for me, I've been touching on this loads in therapy at the minute, and it's Myers-Briggs. And so I've been flying the flag for the 16 personalities test for ages, and I love it. In fact, actually, this is quite funny, and this is obviously ties into the episode nicely. When Sam and I were first seeing each other, I literally sent him the quiz and made him do it before I would even like go on a date with him properly, because I was like, I need to understand you and your personality. Like, seriously, like I was like, I was sending it out and I was like, this is almost like your initiation, because I want to learn.
Yeah.
So I made him do it. And then I was like reading through it. I was like, oh, interesting. But the bit that I'm most interested in with Myers-Briggs and relationships is the P and the J element of it. So judging, which is P, and then perceiving, which is P.
Judging, which is
J, sorry, and perceiving, which is
She's
P.
hungover, please.
What did I say then?
You said P, which is judging, and P, which is perceiving.
God. Yeah, sorry. Let's go back to the aforementioned fuck of the week. But yeah, thank you for having my
I got
back.
it. I'm picking up what you're doing now.
Thanks, darling.
Yeah.
So yeah, P, perceiving, J, judging. And this is so interesting with relationships and friendships, because basically J's, and a lot of the time in relationships, there are J's and the other person's a P. And this is where the most conflict comes,
right?
Like according to all the research. So I'm a J, and a J person who has that personality type is like loves to plan, super organized, wants to know like what the next move is, like not really very go with the flow, all of that. And then
go with the flow. What time does the flow start?
Exactly. And what time does it end? Which is my catchphrase.
And what am I wearing to the flow?
Exactly. Yeah. And will they be leaving by 9 p.m? And then P, which is, very laid back. So go with the flow. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
No planning really involved, spontaneous, all of that. And there's no better than the other. Like, it's not that one is better than the other, but they're just so different.
Yeah.
And like, when you're a J and you're with a P, it's so frustrating, because you're like, right, we need to, like, what's the plan? What are we doing? And from a J's perspective, it's like, why would you not be organized? Because if you don't make a reservation, then you don't have a plan, like, or it might be too busy and all of those things. Yeah. But then from a P perspective, when a J's like, just like, itinerary, plan. And it's like, well, you want to assess the vibe, then see. Yeah. So I think it's so important to understand that in your partner. If your partner is the opposite of you, then knowing that and realizing, for example, when I realized that Sam is actually a P, when he's not planning something, I can be like, right, it's not because he doesn't care about me. It's because he's a P and he wants to go with the flow and assess. Like, it's not that he doesn't care. Yeah. Whereas in my mind, before I knew that, I was like,
you get irritated.
Annoying. Yeah. But now I've got to come with it with more understanding. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, right, okay, well, that makes sense because of this, and this. And he now understands that I'm a J. So sometimes he will be like, a bit more meeting me in the middle to kind of compromise. And it's helped massively. And I think that is a really key thing to know about your partner.
Yeah, love that. It's just like play to your strengths.
Even friends, like, it just makes sense.
I did mine ages ago, but I need to redo it.
Yeah,
I really cannot
We'll put it in the show notes, the 16 personalities test.
Yeah, it is really good. And then my last one was to give what you want to receive. So there's no point saying to your partner, you need to, for example, plan more things if you're not planning anything, because then they'll just turn around and say, well, you don't plan. And then you're not working together, you're not aligned, you're not, it's a recipe for disaster. And it's just a recipe for a row. Yeah. Because what I say before.
And talk.
Yeah, a walk and talk. One. Exactly. Yeah. But I think as well, being able to actually act the way, give what you want to receive is a way of building respect. Because if you're not seeing in someone what they want to see in you, why would that motivate you to want to do what they want to do? Yeah. Am I talking in riddles, or did that sentence make sense?
No, that made sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just going to think, well, no, you don't. So I'm not like that, So I think that's a really short and sweet one, but just maybe check yourself. Like if you're asking your partner for things and you're not even doing that thing, well, maybe that's a good place to start. Yeah. Maybe have a little self-reflect and think, oh, okay, what could I be doing to improve that? And also it's a massive thing to just lead by example. Yes. People don't often do things if you just tell them to do it. Like, you need to do this. But they're more likely to learn, and positive reinforcement as well has a big part to play, but to learn by example and set a positive example of what you want your relationship to look like.
And if you're making your partner feel good by these actions, they will be thinking, if they're a good person and they're a good partner, they'll be thinking, well, I want to do that for her.
Yeah, because she does that for
him.
me.
Yeah, exactly. But it's all
me.
stemming down to that amazing word like communication. Yeah. And then that enables you to read their mind, because only actually when you're armed with information can you actually mind read. And you can mind read, it's a skill, but you have to educate yourself first. And I think that's the key point and the key lesson about the episode, isn't it? And you can actually use all of these points when it comes to friendships as well, because it's all about learning about the nuances. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Nuances. Yeah.
Does it? Yeah, I love that word. I really want to use it. So
is that your word of the week?
Yeah, I'm like, nuances.
Even if it doesn't make sense, just keep it
say
in.
It with chest.
I feel like,
so yeah, it's all about just being armed with a toolkit to educate yourself and then be able to mind read.
Love it.
Perfect.
See you next week, guys.
Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share with a friend who you think would really love this episode.
Bye.
Bye.